the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Shalom Yasharala, peace Israel. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises unto our power, our Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, Kal Halayim La, Allah Hayanawa, Abanawa, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Racha HaKodash. Double honor to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who still rule well. Peace and blessing to the house of David the elect, beginning with the 144,000. All right. And once again, all praises to the Most High God, our power, our Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Welcome to another update of the MOTB is the CHIP. And what you see before you are the words of the Lord jumping off the pages, man. Okay? This is prophecy jumping off the pages. The words of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in your face. Literally in your face. Okay? The chip in my hand and the chip in her brain. That's what this article is entitled. And this is new. This was recently put up. Okay? Recently put up about a week ago and recently updated. Because what's today's date? The 28th? Yeah, today's date is the 28th. All right, and this article was updated the 27th. Okay? At 4:41 p.m. Eastern Time, which the elect would understand this. The elect, the 144,000 and the rest of the elect will understand this. So this is spiritual. This is spiritual, man. Okay? Words jumping off the pages, man. Golly. In your face, literally. The chip in my hand and the chip in her brain. All right? This put up on nextgov.com. All right, this pertains to emerging technology. All right? And this is plain, man. You know, really the title say it all. The title says it all, man. But we're going to run through this article, you know, get what we need out of it so we can further edify. And this is put up by Camille Tuudi. Once again, this is dated July 27, 2026. But I believe this was updated. I believe they put this up a week ago. All right, in the time, you see it says 4:41 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. So at this point, you know, the prophecy is just speaking for itself, you know. Because it's going to come to a point to where the Lord is tired of talking to you people, man. The Lord is going to stop talking to you people via his servants, the prophets. He's going to withdraw his prophets. And that's the Lord shutting his mouth. He don't got nothing to say to you people, man. He just going to make it happen. He just going to make it happen, man. Okay? Let's read this again. The title. The chip in my hand and the chip in her brain. That's Revelation 13 and 16. You know? Implanted chips are moving from novelty to clinical reality. Okay? Because people are read, you know, particular books, certain novels, certain science fiction, and you'll take that as a false reality. You know? It's fantasy, or, you know, it's a myth. You know, it's a good read. You know, it's a thriller. You know, it's a sci-fi thriller. But no, it's a clinical reality. All right. Nextgov.com. Nextgov.com under technologies. Let's read this. 10 years ago, I went to a chip and beer party in Stockholm. Now, I went through this article and I was looking to see who was it talking about as far as this person that took the chip in their hand. And it's pretty much an anonymous person because, I couldn't find the name or the gender, if this was a man or a woman. Okay. Nonetheless, this thing is real. Even though they didn't put the person's name up, we know this is a real thing because you can just look it up yourself. Look up what's happening in Stockholm, Sweden. All right. Look up what's happening in Germany. What's happening in Spain. All right. What's happening even in America. All right. Certain, tattoo parlors. All right. But see, people taking the MOTB is a very big deal in Europe. Okay. These chip parties, futurism events. Okay. It's a very big deal. These different tech expos. All right. So it says 10 years ago, which that will be 2016. I went to a chip and beer party in Stockholm. I wasn't there to drink. I was there to have a chip implanted in my hand. And more than likely, this is an Edomite. So although we don't know the name of the person, we don't know their gender, if they're, a male or a female, but this person has to be Edomite. Because, the spirit of the person, when you read this article. Scriptures say in the book of Obadiah, how are the things that Esau searched out? The MOTB is a thing of Esau. That's why Esau's all into it. The majority of people that's all chipped up in America and Europe, for the most part, they're Edomites, man. I did it out of curiosity, mainly because it sounded cool. No, it's an Edomite. But the crazy part about it, you got certain Jakes that are doing it now too. Like that bug out, I did a video on, he's on Instagram. That one bugged out Jake. But for the most part, it's Esau doing this, man. Jake doing that shit really to impress Esau. The chip is an RFID implant the size of a grain of rice, tucked between my thumb and index finger. Scan my left hand with the phone, and my contact info pops up. Which, the prophecy states that people are going to have it in their right hand, but that mainly pertains to America. People that take the mark of the beast in America, Babylon the Great, for the most part, they're going to have it in their right hand. See, in Europe, people do things on the opposite side, So instead of their right hand, in Europe, it'll be their left hand. You think about how you drive your car. Us here in the States, in America, your steering wheel's on the left side. In Europe, it's on the right side, etc. But it doesn't matter which hand you take the MOTB in. If you take it, you took it. Because you go to Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, of any man, no matter who you are. And that puts us in fear, because we hope we the elect. But the Lord show you, if any of us take it, that means we weren't of the elect. So we could be blotted out the book. So, hey, no matter who you are, don't take this damn chip. If any man worship the beast and his image, what's the beast? NATO. What's his image? This Roman Empire coming back. Well, the image is that of Rome. Okay? Because you think about an image of a person, like it's like a replica. It looks like you, although it's not you. So once again, the beast is NATO. A lot of times you read about the beast and the dragon, they're pretty much interchangeable. Because it all stems back to ancient Rome. All right, so the beast is NATO and the EU. His image is this system, which is the Roman Empire revived. Scripture speak about his deadly wound being healed. So it's this system. Everything that comprises this system, and it reflects that of ancient Rome. You know, this whole way of life, it stems back to Rome. And receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. It didn't say right or left hand. It just said hand. If you take it anywhere, in your head or any hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which means what? You'll be burned alive in a nuclear destruction. All right, so it doesn't matter what hand. Okay? It doesn't matter what hand. You go to Revelation 20:4, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them. It's going into the elect receiving the victory, because they're not going to take the mark of the beast. And judgment was given unto them. To the saints, you read in the book of the prophet Daniel, it says how, you know, judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. The time came when the saints, which are the Israelites, possessed the kingdom. You know, so the Israelites, beginning with the elect, you know, justice is going to be given unto us. We're going to be vindicated, you know. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahweh. So why were they decapitated? By a guillotine? Because that's coming. Esau Edom's going to have these guillotines set up for those that don't want to take the mark of the beast. All right. So these men and women were beheaded. All right. For the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, either hand. And they lived and reigned with Yahushua 1,000 years, which that's going to be used as the laying of the foundation of the kingdom. That's what that 1,000-year period is about. But we're going to live and reign with Yahushua forever. Not only 1,000 years, just, you know, 1,000 years for the establishing of the kingdom. Okay? 1,000 years for us to pay the nations back double and to lay the foundation of the kingdom. But we're going to reign forever. You know? It'll take 1,000 years for the kingdom to be, you know, built up how Yahweh Shem Yahushua wants to be built up. But the point, it mentions how the elect, they didn't take the MOTB in either hand. You know, the right or the left hand. Right, so let's go back into it. So this Edomite, whether male or female, whoever this person is, they went to Stockholm, Sweden to get the mark of the beast in their left hand. Scan my left hand with the phone and my contact info pops up. A decade later, which is now 2026, the chip is still there. Other implantees, other people that got the mark, have programmed theirs to unlock doors, start cars, and you see that. You know, you look at videos online, people are unlocking doors to their house. You know, they're using the MOTB as a gym key. You know, they're starting their Tesla with the MOTB, you name it. And store health records. Yeah, storing their health information. And the MOTB is going to be the end-all be-all for this man's system. It's going to have all your information on it. It's going to interconnect everything about you. And it's going to have the internet on it. You know? And you're going to be a part of the internet. You know? The internet of things, the internet of bodies, interconnection of things. All right. So this person, whoever this is, they pretty much have a basic chip, for lack of better words. They didn't get all these different applications on it as certain other people that have it. Mine stayed a party trick and a good story, but the idea behind it, putting hardware inside the body to talk to machines, stayed with me. So in other words, this person is obsessed with it. But look at the title again. All right. The chip in my hand and the chip in her brain. That's the prophecy, bro, all day. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. You know? And we'll get ready to close it out in a minute. Last month, surgeons in Michigan placed a brain-computer interface called Connexus into a human brain. It belongs to Paradromics, an Austin-based neurotechnology company that got FDA approval last fall to begin a clinical trial. And think about that, man. Because Austin is in America. Austin, Texas. So we're here, man. We're close. We're super close. There's people around you that are taking the MOTB. They're taking the Mark of the Beast system. It's just that it's not mandatory yet. It's voluntary now. Very soon, it's not going to be voluntary. It's not going to be an option. So, it's a woman. She took the MOTB in her head. She got the brain-computer interface. The participant is a woman with motor neuron disease that has taken most of her ability to speak. So she's a test dummy for this technology. The implant reads individual neurons through 421 microelectrodes. Let me read that again. The implant reads individual neurons through 421 microelectrodes that sit 1.5 millimeters into the motor cortex. The signals run down to a transceiver in her chest, which beams them out to a receiver, and AI turns them into words on a screen. Paradromics spent a decade building toward this technology, or building toward this surgery, excuse me. Let me read that again. Paradromics spent a decade building toward this surgery. And if they can do this one, they can do many more. So that's a milestone. I asked CEO Matt Engel, a neuroscientist by training, how it felt. When someone is trusting you to put a brain implant in their brain, that's a massive duty of care, he says. Mostly, he remembers relief that the surgery went well and she recovered. Then excitement about what they could do next. There's a real human component to that. But they want to make you non-human. A real human component. That's bullshit. Esau Edom wants to rid the planet Earth of all organic life, all natural life. Because if you are human and you take the MOTB, you're not human anymore with that technology in you. And you belong to the beast at that point. What they're doing next is rehab. A machine learning algorithm is learning to read her brain and produce speech, and she's relearning how to use a voice in the device. This is what the clinical phase looks like, Engel says. I asked what people get wrong. The misconception he names comes from his own industry. One of the misconceptions about brain-computer interfaces is that it's currently a niche field and that it won't be big until everyone gets a BCI and we all live in the matrix, he says. But see, this is the reality. That's not a misconception. That's the truth. And that's when it will be big. It's going to be big when everyone gets it. Most people going to get it, except for the elect. All right? And see, it's big now, but see, when this happens, it's going to be bigger. All right? It won't be big. It won't be big until everyone gets a BCI, brain-computer interface, which is the mark of the beast in the forehead. And we all live in the matrix. He says, yeah, everyone's a part of the internet. Because right now people are on social media, People have phones. Everyone's on the internet all the time. But you're really going to be in the internet. It's going to be further than that. You think about Facebook and metaverse, it's going to be way worse than that. Hey, you're going to be transhuman. That story pulls in investors, he admits, but it makes people lose sight of the next decade, turning untreatable biology problems into solvable technology problems. And see, that's how the devil baits and switches you. That's a bait and switch. They want to tell you the benefits of this technology, how it helps people, it treats these different diseases, yada, yada, yada. But they really want everyone to have this. Once again, people that are getting it now, that's just a trial run. They have to make sure that it works, so they won't have these different issues when the average person gets it. Restoring speech alone is a market worth tens of billions of dollars. It's bigger than that, though. The implants can also pick up brain states tied to mood and cognition, which puts mental health in range. Yeah, talking about, treating depression. So they're letting you know by way of the brain-computer interface, they can enhance your mood. They can electronically induce, certain signals to your brain to make you feel better. And if they can do that, that means that they can control your mind. if they can control what mood you're going to be in. Okay? So, hey, this is very demonic, man. Extremely demonic, but it has to happen. This is Bible prophecy. The MOTB will be made mandatory. The one for the hands and the one for the head. Angle pictures one working like a continuous glucose monitor for the brain, flagging when your medication is wearing off. So they're speaking of benefits, and that's why a lot of people gonna get it. But also, Esau Edom's gonna make it to where it's impossible for you to live without it. All right? But if you got faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, Esau doesn't determine how you're gonna live. Because the Lord said He's gonna take care of us. The same readout could steer deep brain stimulators and other neuromodulation devices built by companies already in that business. I think there's going to be a revolution in not the next 50 years, but in the next 10 years in mental health. Yeah, you see the average person crashing out. You know, a lot of people do have mental health problems because people got demons on them, you know. A lot of people are out of their minds. So, you know, the charagma is going to be enforced to make it as if it could, you know, treat your mental health problems. Majority of people don't believe in the Bible. Majority of people don't have faith in a higher power, in the power, because Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is the power. All right? Which He's only for the Israelites anyway. But you look at the majority of our people are gone, you know? Nonetheless, the MOTB is going to be pushed. It's going to be promoted to help your mental health. It says, and that's in the next 10 years. Who says you have that long? But at least 10 years is shorter than 50. But remember the prophecy, Revelation 12:12, the devil's going to come down with great wrath, knowing that he have but a short time. So Esau Edom's going to rush this in. He has an agenda. Okay? Now it says, as we start moving, or as we start using brain-computer interfaces to read out signatures of mental illness, he says. All right, and let's read some more. Biology is slow, he says, and cures win Nobel Prizes maybe once in a decade, while technology iterates much faster. Regrowing a spinal cord could be a 100-year project, but reading someone's intention to move a wheelchair or move a robotic arm, control a computer based on brain signals. Let me read that again. Control a computer based on brain signals. You can do that right now, he says. And you can look up videos on all that. All right. The biggest problem ahead for Angle and his team is reimbursement, which has nothing to do with neurons. First-in-class devices have no billing codes, and Medicare moves slowly on them. Angle points to Rapid, a new FDA CMS effort that will start Medicare's coverage review the day a breakthrough device clears FDA, slashing a wait that has run a year or more. I told him about the story I read a few years ago of a company that built bionic eyes, ran out of money, and left patients with dead hardware in their heads. And that's how Esau Edom does you. But see, with this going to be different. Because see, the Lord signed off on this. This is Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's prophecy. Revelation 13-16 down to 18. So this is going to happen. You know? Hey, Esau Edom making the right investment. You know, it's Bible prophecy. Angle's fix is also about money. Stop paying for implants in one lump sum and move to ongoing support payments close to a software subscription. That devil all about keeping your ass in debt, boy. Hey, but you paying off that device in your head over time, you know? So either way, he's going to sell you on it, man. Give you a lot of incentives, you know? If there's a market for providing software support, providing application support on an ongoing basis, then you wouldn't see that kind of abandonment, he says. Angle wants that same whole of government approach at home. The U.S. leads the field technology, the U.S. leads the field technically, he says, but the government gets it gets in its own way. China published reimbursement codes and payment numbers for BCI surgeries before it approved a single device commercially. And the brain-computer interface is very big in China. You know? Very big. And what Apostle Hart say, the MOTB gonna start in China. Knowing what a device will pay takes risk out of the bet, he says, and lets investors put more money into the field. If nothing were impossible, what would the future of BCI look like? Angle's dream has BCIs that don't repeat what he calls the sins of the past tech era, naming Facebook and TikTok, where users stopped being the customer and their attention got sold. Yeah, hey, and that's what happens, you know? Because implants read intent. Yeah, so, hey, they'll already know where to go. You know? Your intention. And see, that's why they put up all these different suggestions and, you know, you'll see it. You know, things that are recommended to you when you're on the internet, when you're surfing the internet, you know, because they track your history. So they know what you like, know what you want to buy, okay? Know your interests because of your intent. So it's going to be even deeper than that when the implant is in you. Once again, this is very sinister, man. This is nefarious, you know? Because implants read intent, he argues they could handle life's admin without the constant pinging. Yeah, you just on damn automation. Most people who spend a week without their phone are happier. Why? Because they're human. You weren't created to, you know, carry around a phone every damn where. Constantly be on it, constantly had a blue face, you know? That's unnatural, man. But Esau, Edom, they constantly want you bombarded with this technology. And ultimately, they want to put it in you. Most people who spend a week without their phone are happier, he says. That's not a good sign. And it's the devil talking for you. Really, it is a good sign. But he says that's not a good sign, that these powerful technologies that are with us all the time make us less happy. But BCIs could be a lot different than that. This man wants to get inside of you, change your mood. You're going to like this damn chip. Hey, that's what Esau said. That's what Daddy Esau saying, you know? Now you take that chip, Esau your daddy, man. Like the Akim in Chicago say. He imagines them handling the same services we juggle now, calling an Uber, buying groceries. People going to use the charagma to do all that. You know? To order a damn Uber. To buy groceries. You think about groceries being delivered now. You know? Without us having to look at anything. And that's going to be the difference. Because of your intent. The charagma already know what you want. Basically, this technology is going to be your guide, man. The international banking families who control this technology, they're going to be your guide. And if you take this technology, you know, this idol, because, you know, it's an idol, okay? AI is an idol. El Apostle Aramla went into that. If you take this, it's going to fully control you, control everything about you, man. And what happens if Esau cuts it off? They just cut your damn chip off. And you see it with certain celebrities. Esau Edom will cut off their access to their money, man. You know, brothers recently speaking about Adrian Broner, I believe. Esau Edom could say, nah, you can't have access to your millions of dollars. You a damn slave, man. But see, if you take this mark of the beast, you really a slave. You know? Now it says the AI is just constantly working on our behalf and understanding our intentions without stealing our attention, he says. Once again, that's the devil, that old serpent talking. That part of the future, at least I can vouch for. My chip has never pinched. Now this is the person that this article for the most part is about, you know. The person, they got the charagma in their hand, their left hand. My chip has never pinged me, never sold my attention, never bothered me once in 10 years. But it also does almost nothing. And all he has to do is get the upgrade, or get it upgraded, you know, get it tweaked some, get more applications on it. All right. Whether anyone can build hardware that stays that harmless while reading a mind is the open question. Yeah. Well, see, the thing about it, Esau Edom was going to have full control over this technology, you know, and they will be able to read your mind. So this person, you know, that's pretty much over this article, you know, who it's about, they're promoting the RFID technology and the brain computer interface technology. They're promoting it, but also it's like their mind isn't made up in a sense, you know. But at the end of the day, you already took it. So, you know, ultimately your mind is made up. You already took it, you know, and you're nothing but a product of the elite of Edom, a product of the wicked elite of Esau Edom. I pray this is edifying. This word is jumping off the pages for real, man. You know, very soon the Heavenly Father is going to withdraw his prophets. There's going to be a famine of the word, and you people just going to have to deal on your own. You got to figure it out. But for the hopeful elect out there, those of y'all that have been standing stiffly for the names, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, y'all going to be all right, man. So I pray this video was edifying and, Lord willing, comforting to the hopeful elect. I want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. I would like to give a double honor unto our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who still rule well. Peace and blessed house of David the elect. Hey, Shalom.